Hello everyone, my name is Michelle, and today I would like to tell you how I overcame my fear of bees. Now, it's not just about fear of bees. It ultimately is about letting go of fear. So, when I was 4, I had a pair of flip-flops. On the heel portion of the shoe was a big, huge bumblebee. One day, a bumblebee literally flew in when my heel came up, and as my heel came back down, squash, the stinger went into my heel, and of course I cried for about an hour. All of these years have went by, and I have just been absolutely terrified of bees. It literally sent a shock mentally through my system that every time I saw a bee throughout my life, that it triggered something and I just panicked. And I just knew the bees were after me. I even went through a period, I thought, oh my gosh, I must have some kind of sweet smell to me and they're just attracted to me and the bees won't leave me alone. I mean, I just had all these crazy thoughts just, flooding my mind when I saw a bee, because the bees would literally, not lying, come to my face this close. I was sitting on the porch and God had told me through a vision to learn from the bee. Instead of looking at the bee in fear, release that fear and literally learn from the bee. What lesson could I learn? At least one lesson. Every time I see a bee, what is it teaching me? Here came the bee. Actually, several. I just kept my eyes closed. Bees swarming around me. And I took deep breaths. I said, okay, I've got to release this fear. So I opened my eyes, and literally, here's a bee. And I look at the bee, and I say, hi baby, you're so beautiful. In an instant, fear started going away. It was amazing, because all of a sudden I'm talking to this bee, and I know this sounds crazy, but it worked. And this is just, listen, hear me out, because this is beautiful. So I'm literally talking to this bee, right? And I just keep complimenting this bee, thanking this bee for everything that this bee does, has done, will do, and how much I love it. And it stays right here. Like it's literally feeling my vibration or some kind of frequency from me as I'm talking to it. As other bees would come around, this bee would literally knock these, it would like charge these other bees, knock them out of the air, and come right back to me. Birds would fly by. This bee would go and knock these birds forcefully out of the air and come back to me, or at least scare them away. Come right back to me. So I would keep talking to it. My husband came outside and he witnessed this. My son, who lived across the street, he came and no one could believe this. It was amazing, and it was, I felt like Cinderella or Snow White, because this bee, it was like, it became my best friend. Something that I had feared for most of my life, all but 4 years of my life, I have feared this one thing. That loved me. That had so much compassion for me, and all I did was tell it that I loved it and how I was thankful for it. And it was beautiful. And that was the beginning of my process of letting go of fear. For one, I faced it head on. And yes, it was terrifying. It was for those first few minutes. But every day that I would go outside intentionally to see my friend, and that's what it became, was my friend. when I was a child, I honestly believe this, that experience happened for me to step on that bee and cause some kind of fear throughout my life so that I could learn a lesson from it. Alright, until next time, I do love you. Take care. Bye.